Okay,
Yeah.
welcome everyone.
Hi, everyone.
Everybody,
We're
good
talking
morning, good
about the prolific
afternoon.
lying of Donald Trump, and I'm like, where do you put him in the annals of fucking historical liars? And Lev honestly goes, I got to tell you, I don't really know much about history. So
The history of lying is not my strong
no,
suit,
no.
so folks. Thank you for all the birthday. I want to start off by saying thank you for all the incredible birthday wishes. Yesterday, I read each and every one of them. I tried to like them. If I haven't liked it yet, I'm going to go like it. I just want to tell you, it was so incredible because usually I'm a very private person when it comes to my birthday. And the fact that yesterday I was able to celebrate it with thousands and thousands of people this was like really the first time that truly was family. I felt
Mm.
your wishes. I felt your real warmth come through all of that. So I just want to let you know, I was able to literally take a little day off yesterday with the family. They kidnapped me, and made sure. But I could tell you we got a lot to go on today. I was going to go live last night, but my wife didn't allow me. I figured we'll do it
Oh, do you get
today in
that
the
too?
morning.
You get that too,
Yeah,
where Mrs. Parnas, the Mrs. comes to you and goes, "Hi, Johnny, nice to see you." Comes to you and go, "That's enough. Like it's your birthday.
yeah, yeah. Like no,
It's Christmas."
she's like, it'll wait till the morning. And I'm like, no, but I gotta let everybody know. She's like, it'll wait till the morning. And, like always, she's always right. You know what I'm saying to you? My wife is all, because in the morning, I got more news and more phone calls. And today, a lot of things that we're going to talk about. So, and Dean actually was also, life works, I believe in, everything happens for a reason. Dean was busy. So it's great that, we're able to get together a little bit later in the afternoon because we have a lot to bring up.
Yeah.
I hope you got your coffees, your teas, your popcorns, your munchies, whatever, lunch, whatever you got, because this is going to be definitely a special coffee with tea and coffee with and tea with Dean and Lev.
Levantine.
Not only Lev and Dean and
Yeah.
Lev.
Yeah.
It's all good. Because you know what? First of all, we haven't been around for a while. Dean has been traveling all over, Greenland, Iceland, Antarctica, where South
Denmark.
Pole,
Yeah.
North Pole, Denmark. He's been representing our country with the Save America group, and with some great guys like Denver Riggleman and others, going out there, being able to. Malcolm Nance, Malcolm's still out there. We haven't seen Malcolm come back yet. I think he's coming back, I think next week already.
Mhm.
Some incredible work. So, plus a lot going on today. So, let's, and again, love you guys. Thank you for all the incredible birthday wishes. So just to give you a little idea of how the show is going to go, we have some guests also because we have a lot going on. We have Zev Shalev that's going to join us shortly. We have also Nick Paro that's going to also pop in and join us shortly. Then we're also going to have a time for some of you because there's a lot of subjects, definitely. So if you guys want to come up now before the algorithm, because later on it gets delayed. So now's a good time. Dean will be on the lookout. If you have any questions or you guys want to come out, Dean, if you could, yeah, now's a good time. Like in the
I'm on it,
first
baby.
30, 40, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, raise your hand, let us know. So this way, when we go into Q&A and when we go into bringing you guys up, we'll be able to know, we'll know who's there. So this way, we'll be able to do that. And then I just want to do definitely a quick shout out to my sister Ludmila. She's not feeling well today, folks. She had a little dental work done yesterday, and we need to send her all the love and the power of energy. She needs all that power of energy because she's
All that power and
a
energy
little
she
bit.
puts out, we need to give her a little back. I didn't know. Is she
Yeah,
okay? She all right?
she's all right. She just, dental work is just,
Sucks. Yeah.
yeah, so she's out of it today, but she's here with us watching, feeling all your love. So give her, spread some love to her. Ellie, I saw is in the house. Ellie, leave her alone. She's not coming up. She's needs a little time with the family, but we love her that she's coming here and supporting and listening. But we have a lot of people that are, yeah, definitely it's going to be an incredible show. So keep smashing those hearts and make sure we get as many people in because we're going to go. I'll just give you a list of things that we're going to go over today, if I may, Dean, and then I want to throw it
Oh,
on
yeah,
to
no,
you
please
to
set the table because it's gonna be a heavy fucking day, dude. Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, heavy day. So, just it's gonna, we got some major breaking stuff having to do with Howard Lutnick, folks. Howard Lutnick, my son broke the news earlier today for those of you that haven't seen it, but the connection between Howard Lutnick, basically the name of the show today is White House is in full meltdown. Full meltdown, folks. And I want you, it's great news and it's also scary news. So this is why we're gonna go over everything today. We're gonna go over all the bad, all the good, and we're at the end. We're gonna figure out how we're gonna make this and save our democracy because it's all about action, not just reporting the news. So. We got Howard Lutnick, major conversation we're gonna talk about. The truth post about Donald Trump yesterday, the vile, disgusting truth post, won't even discuss what it's about. It's about the Obamas. You know about it. We're going to talk about what some of my sources on the inside are telling me about Donald Trump's reaction to that. We're going to talk about Tulsi Gabbard, folks. There's some more information I've been telling you for days, for the past week. Tulsi's involvement in this whole Save America new proposal, which is really how to steal the rights of our Americans to vote.
Mhm.
This group that's been formulated by Trump with the CIA director, the FBI director, the DA Ratcliffe, all of them, they're all in the group. And now there's new information Dean's going to read to us that just came out, literally breaking news within the past 40 minutes,
Yeah.
which we're going to update on. Maybe I'll walk away, make a few phone calls while we're doing it. But there's some breaking news happening with Tulsi as we're coming live with you. So we'll talk about that.
Mhm.
We're going to talk about Canada, the Canada ambassador. Dean has some really inside info for us because these are stuff that the media is not even talking about, what the Canada ambassador has to do. Well, stay tuned because a lot. You're not going to believe this when we got to go. We're definitely also going to talk about the Epstein files, folks. Not
Oof.
only what's happening, and that's going to come out. There's some major explosive stuff. We're also going to talk about some of the involvement of Michael Cohen that I'm hearing that is getting. I mean, there's more dots that are being connected. The relationships and what I'm hearing in the White House, folks, is they're panicking because of not what has already come out. They're panicking what they don't know is about to come out, what could still come out. What just think about the 3.5 million drop. We've only, like I spoke to my son. I mean, he's only through like 300, not even 300,000 pages of that. He's probably, I
Yeah.
don't know if he's in 200. Ali, I mean, Zev will come up, let us know how far they're into it. But we're only at the tip of the iceberg. And just think about, as I always say, this is the things that we're going to talk about Michael Wolff, Michael Cohen, all of these people. We're going to discuss a lot of things that are the relationships also to Howard Lutnick, the relationships, how all these people have been quiet all this time, and now all of this is starting to come on. Now you're seeing people being defensive, going on the attack, insulting, trying to divide, and very important. We're going to bring a lot of this stuff together. So, Dean, we hand it over to you.
Yeah.
That's wherever you want to begin, brother. I'm going to let you run the show. We have Zev online. Zev is with us here. Nick is with us here. So however you want to do that, whatever subject you want to jump in
Yeah.
first,
No,
you
I
just let me
appreciate it.
know and we're there.
Yeah, dude, well done and happy birthday. Let me just kind of say that I
Thank you,
knew
brother.
I found my soulmate, my Substack soulmate. When you told me your birthday was on the 6th, I'm February baby too, so it all works out. The
Where? Yeah.
Aquarians are here to fuck stuff up. But listen, happy birthday to you, and I'm glad you had the day off. But to your point,
Thank
we
you,
got a
brother.
busy day today, and I think you really kind of hit the nail on the head when you said, what the theme of the day is. It's pure fucking panic. The Epstein files have turned into napalm. And we're a quarter of the way through the first quarter of that last $3.5 million document dump, or 3.5 million document dump. And every single day we open up our phones, we open up our social media, and there's a deeper relationship between Howard Lutnick and Epstein, who were deeply involved in business. There's a deeper relationship. There's another murder for hire plot. You got Jeffrey Epstein talking about how difficult it was for him to murder people with another person who murdered another human being. You've got attestations, several different people saying Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein killed some of these girls, buried them on their properties. And we have just started. Like, we've just begun. And not to mention the criminality. And folks, the criminality that's involved in this that hides behind the disgustingness and the perversion and the nightmare of the Epstein files and the cover up, the criminality is the entire fucking point. You cannot get away from the financial crimes because the financial crimes were the impetus for the sexual crimes. Let me repeat
Yep.
that. The financial crimes are a 40-year period were a pretext and the impetus for the sexual crimes. And it is so much worse than we thought. And I think a great jumping off point would be meltdown in the White House. 36 different cabinet members have now been pegged as not just being in the Epstein files, but active participants in the sex trafficking ring. We had Elon Musk at the scene of the crime. We had a picture show up today from Jeffrey Epstein taking a picture of a table with all the oligarchs, including Musk, including Zuckerberg, including Thiel. Jeffrey Epstein did an incredible job of making sure he felt untouchable due to the people that he was able to compromise, due to the circles that he ran in. And what we're getting now is this is truly from the KGB playbook. This is purely unadulterated, a case of a guy named Jeffrey Epstein, who is indeed a Russian fucking asset who served at the pleasure of Putin, called himself Putin's fixer, and continually talked about how that was the business that he was doing. All is fair in love and war when you're a Russian asset. Your name is Jeffrey Epstein, and you've been running the fucking show with Donald Trump. You've destroyed America in 2008 with your eyes set to become the next president of the United States in 2016. And it's safe to say we have an international criminal organization parading around as the United States fucking government. I want to start with Howard Lutnick because Howard Lutnick came out strong when the Epstein files first dropped, Lev. And you know Lutnick, you're
Yeah.
aware of Lutnick.
Yeah.
Now we're having a completely different picture drawn for us from these Epstein files, right? The picture he wanted us to believe, or the painting that he gave us, was like, he was disgusting. I was next door. My wife said he's disgusting. I never went back. Not only did he go back, he brought other people's children to the island with him. 15, 16, 14, 13, 7, and 12. There are those emails. Then there are other emails about how fucking excited he was to head down to the island with these children and these families. And keep in mind, these families don't exist, but these children fucking did. And then we find out that Howard Lutnick not only visited the island, not only hung out with Epstein all the time, not only fucking hung out with Donald Trump and Epstein in his mansion right next to Howard Lutnick's all the time up until 2019 when he died. This is a true story. He was in business with Howard
That's
Lutnick.
what my son. That's what my son broke today. Yeah, this is why today in the morning I was on the phone. It's
Yeah, take
incredible.
us through it because Aaron did an incredible job, right?
Incredible job. Yeah, shout out to my son Aaron. He really is also, like I said, shout out to all the independent journalists and
Yes.
investigative reporters that are right now are jumping in, like Ellie, like Zev, like Kate Justice, Nick Paro, all the where we're gonna go through all because the interesting part, the Krasenstein brothers, we're all together and everybody's finding different parts. Like Aaron's finding stuff on the Lutnick, the Krasensteins found stuff about the relationship all the way up to 2019. You had what's it called? Epstein planning to see the Trump boys in Mar-a-Lago. You know what I'm saying to you? You have Zev and Ellie, I mean, uncovering all of this, rough sex, corruption, all the ties to Moscow, Russia. Oh, I mean, you got Kate Justice literally being threatened and sued by somebody, and then her
Catherine Keating. Yeah.
Catherine Keating, thank you, coming out and shout out to Kate Justice. Incredible. Just think about you got a regular person out there finding some stuff, saying, "Hey, she's in the Epstein files," and they intimidate her. All of these people, just like you see what Michael Cohen's even doing, and all of them, they intimidate you and threaten you and try to what's it called. But shout out, she stood her ground, and what she said came true. Kate,
Mhm.
her name's in the Epstein files, validated her reporting. So incredible stuff. That's why important. One thing I do want to do is set a little groundwork for because we have a lot of people here. We're gonna have a lot more people join us. So first of all, I recommend for those of you that are volunteers and that are helping Ellie and others and trying to grab your pens, papers, or your laptops or computers, start taking
Hmm.
notes and stuff like that. For those of you that just want to grab your cup coffee and tea and relax and just get a little information and deal with it, all good. Everybody, the most important thing is that we take this information that we're going to talk about today and we spread it far and wide. So the
Sure.
show is free to everybody, folks. All subscribers are here to be able to share because the information is key. There's no paywall. There's no got you moments. You or sit back and get all the information like everybody else. The special thing we do is for the paid subscribers. If you are a paid subscriber, because of you are able to share all this information, no paywalls, and are able to give this information, you could join in the conversation. You could come up live by being a paid. That's the only difference, folks. So for those of you, do not feel like you're obligated or you have to, but if you can, you want to tell us what you feel, you want to come up, talk to us, you want to support our platform, hit that little Chiron up there and become a paid subscriber to me, to Dean, and automatically you'll be able to be live part of the conversation at any time and join us. So if any moment you feel like the urgency, you need to say something, slam that button. It's cheaper than a cup of coffee a month, and you will be part of this family, part of the conversation, part of actually making a difference. So and that's the groundwork, just so everybody understands. Now let's get into Lutnick.
Yeah, please.
So first of all, I never had any personal relationship with Howard Lutnick, never. But me and Howard Lutnick were our paths crosses back in when I used to be in the brokerage days. When I moved to Florida, I used to have right before 9/11. Howard Lutnick was part of Cantor Fitzgerald. He used to own Cantor Fitzgerald, and I had a brokerage firm where we did business. But our that's where our relationship, not me and Howard personally. So personally, I have no idea who anything about Howard Lutnick himself. Never met him. Maybe we met and passing by, but never had a relationship. The person that does know Howard Lutnick very, very well is Michael Cohen. He's known Howard Lutnick for over 20 years, and that's very important because what we're starting to see is a pattern that all of these people that have denied Cohen, Lutnick, all of them coming out, and I'm going to get into what my letter of the day, what Trump wrote, is they're all in the same circle, and they're only, they all denied until they get caught in there. Once their name comes out, they right away attack. They attack, pretend that it's the source is wrong. They attack the people that are coming and starting to ask questions. But
Hmm.
the interesting part is if you think about it, the one pattern we've noticed, and this is how I want to start off with, is that and I'm sorry, I wronged the wrong shirt today. I should have wore everyone is in the loop.
Hmm.
Because the one thing we're realizing is majority of Trump's inner circle, not even people, and this is very clear, not only people in the White House, but Trump's inner circle for the past 15, 20 years, and going back to Epstein maybe for 40 years, but at least for the past 15, 20 years,
Hmm.
they were all in the loop. When I mean they were all in the loop, they all were aware of who Epstein was. Most of them interacted with Epstein. They're all lying about their involvement in Epstein, either because they're scared of their wives, either they're scared because of the business, either they're scared because of whatever the reason. But none of them, and this is why I want to make it clear, none of them are coming out themselves. Like, just let's take Michael Cohen, for example, because he's
Yeah.
out there, and I don't want to, I'm using because we know Michael Cohen and I don't know Howard Lutnick, so I'm going to use Michael Cohen as an example. So Michael Cohen is out there right now saying we're trying to divide communities. We're trying to be, no, we're not. We're trying to get down to the facts. So Michael Cohen, fact one is Michael Cohen knows Howard Lutnick. He talks about it and that he knows him for 20, 30 years or more. They're like butt buddies. Always talks about how, reports on him, talks about how he's a good guy, family guy, all this type of stuff and everything else like this. Michael Cohen, even today, said, on his own podcast to his audience, said that he has never seen or heard of Donald Trump doing anything wrong when it came to the Epstein files or Epstein. Even till today, he's saying it like he knows nothing about it. Michael Cohen, you know what I'm saying to you. So and when you look at the pattern, and I want to get off now Michael Cohen, and you look at the pattern of Cohen, Bissett, Lutnick, Musk, Bannon, you look at it's the same pattern.
Yeah.
Bullshit. Thank you, Marjorie. It's all bullshit. They
Mhm.
are all in the loop. They all have some. Maybe bring Zev up because we're talking about the Epstein. Oh, let me do it. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Thanks,
yeah.
guys.
We're talking about
Thanks,
Epstein.
guys, for reminding me. Yeah,
No, no,
thank you guys for
but what you're
reminding me.
getting to is that they're all in the loop, but they're all in the financial loop, and they're I'm going to put a piece about this later. They're not just morally flexible; they are morally fucking bankrupt. And
Yeah.
and so morally bankrupt people who knowingly do business with a pedophile because the stroke is too good on the other side. They're in the in group, which is you can argue going back to Cohen that that's his big issue is that he's not in the in group, right? He's still apparently, in my estimation, this is my opinion, looks like he's running interference on behalf of the in group that he wants to be part of. Now, this in group, Lev, and I want to ask you about the in group
Yeah.
because the in group looks like his entire fucking cabinet. The in
Yeah.
group looks like every
Yeah.
member of the broligarchy. And,
Yeah.
I had an epiphany this week, and I want to ask you a question because whether it's Lutnick, whether it's Bessent, whether it's, Reid Hoffman, whether it's anybody in his cabinet that is mentioned in it, whether it's Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, did he just intentionally surround himself in this iteration of people who were also he knew were impugned by the Epstein files and knew they had just as much to lose as him? And so, if I go down, you go down? Because that's the fucking direct feeling I get.
No. They're not that bright. You don't understand what happened. Let me give you a little. And hey, Zev, hey,
They're
Zev,
not that
welcome.
bright.
They're no. See, this is they. Let me explain to you. The cover up that's been going on for all these years and all these different administrations. The
Mhm.
one thing with the cover up that changed now is they all this information was so kept so sensitive and covered up that it was never released and never like really spoken. People just like kept putting it under the rug, under the rug. When Trump was in for his first administration, a lot of people assumed that he had control of the DOJ like he has control of it now, but he
Yeah.
didn't because didn't have the same relationship with Bill Barr. So he didn't have access to the files or stuff like that. Bill Barr did. Bill Barr knew what was going on, so and that's why with Zev, we're going to speak about Bill Barr's involvement and how Bill Barr his name comes up there and how Bill Barr knew and how all of a sudden these conversations with Bannon and right prior to his arrest and where he's talking about all these different stuff and so yeah, Bill Barr though, but Trump did. So Trump ran on that platform of we're going to release the Epstein files, but
Yeah.
what Trump didn't realize he's all over the Epstein files, all of his people are because these are you got to understand Lutnick, Trump, all of them, they ran in the same circles. This was the elite,
Yeah,
Epstein,
but
you know what I'm
are
saying?
they all finding out they were in the Epstein files together? Like, is that is
Well,
that just a
well, because
coincidence?
because how would Howard Lutnick know that there's an email between because this is not I'm saying to you that that's going to come up. These people don't think this is like 30 years ago if that's even called they couldn't even imagine the stuff as some of it's coming out.
Yeah.
That's why remember Trump's words to Marjorie Taylor Greene. A lot of good people are going to get hurt. Remember, he said to her a lot
Yeah.
because what
Yeah.
happened was because let me tell you what happens. Because when he got into office, and when Pam Bondi, and when Kash Patel, and when they really got a hold of the Epstein files, and when they started going through them, and you started hearing the scrubbing and all of that, they had a conversation with Trump. This was that July 4th weekend when July 6th they came out and said there's nothing to see here. It's an end, and
Yeah.
told him this is what it is. Trump didn't know, just like Trump didn't know the Russians were, all over him and the honeypot operations, and that they're still. Trump didn't know. Trump lived. That's this. See, people forget who Donald Trump was. Donald Trump was somebody that was involved with mobsters. Donald Trump was somebody that was, corrupt unions. Donald Trump was somebody that intimidated people. That people forget, who Donald Trump was in the 80s, 90s, and how Donald Trump made his wealth and how and all the scandals, the corruptions. I'm saying to you, the women, the all of that stuff. But this is the crowd they ran it.
Yeah.
This was all that. That's why. So they did. So now what Epstein was the link to all of them. So now we're starting to see how they were all in that, and they're all liars, and that's what I'm saying to you. So right now, the biggest panic, and I'm going to pass it to Zev after this, is the biggest panic that I wrote about it, folks. If you haven't, go read the Substack. I just put it out literally an hour ago. It's basically the White House meltdown is the unknown, because now it's not what Trump or because everybody around Donald Trump, people in the GOP, people there are what else is out there that's going to come out in this 3.5 million dump that has it? Because every day we're seeing explosive. I mean, every day it's one explosive breaking news after the other. So what is else in there that's unknown? A and B. What is he holding back in those other 3 million files? How bad could it be, and what's going on? So on that note, I'll pass it on to you, Zev, because I know there's a lot to uncover there. Yeah.
Hey,
Good morning.
buddy.
Good afternoon. What's up?
How are
Good
you guys?
afternoon.
Happy
Nice to
birthdays.
see. Yeah.
Did I hear happy birthdays,
you.
not just birthdays?
Yeah. I'm on the
Yeah,
12th.
yeah,
He's on the 6th. We're both Aquarians.
We're rock and rolling, yeah.
Yeah, dude. When I meet him, we're going tip to tip. I'm just letting you know.
Okay.
I'm gonna hug him. We're going tip to tip.
Yeah.
Just because we're both Aquarians.
Whatever you guys want to do in your own private time is okay with me. I'm fine with it.
I know, buddy.
Happy birthday to you, Lev. And
Thank you,
to you,
Zev,
Dean.
brother.
We'll have a party for you.
We should.
Thank you.
We could just turn this into. Listen, there's nothing I love more. Like if someone asked me what I want to do for my birthday, it would be to hang out with you and Lev on a Substack
Well,
Live.
how about this?
Uncovering the shit.
It's kind of sad.
I'll give you
but
both.
it's true.
I'll give you both an invitation. Join me on your birthday on the 12th in Washington D.C.
I'm coming.
as we're gonna go kick Pam Bondi's ass. And so,
did you? By the way,
anyway,
before we get to Zev, did you get per? You're going to be in Washington on the 11th, 12th. Is that correct?
Yeah. We got the tickets.
Oh, dude, I'm coming.
There.
Yeah, fuck. As soon as we get off, I'll book that ticket. I'm on my way.
I'll talk to you. Yeah. Well, I'm speaking to Jasmine Crockett, Congresswoman Crockett, behind the scenes. So the plan is, and I'm speaking to some of the Epstein survivors, is to get them front row with me and our incredible team, Zev, Ellie, and the Krasenstein brothers has joined, Kay Justice. We're going to put together whatever we can to the best of our ability, because I know there's so much and every day there's more and more coming, but we're going to basically open up the line of communication and give them, start handing them tranches, because the one thing I could tell you is they don't have the capability or ability to uncover the Epstein files, put them in relevance, connect the dots, like our amazing team here on Substack, like Zev, Ellie, Kate, Nick, Aaron, my son Aaron, the Krasenstein's brother, what the work, and all of you subscribers that are helping anonymously, the volunteers and stuff. So shout out to each and every one of you. So they don't have the same capability. So we're going to do some of the groundwork for them, deliver it to them. So this way we could keep putting the pressure on, because the one thing, and we're going to talk about later, that's going to save our democracy, the quickest way is these Epstein files and the pressure, because that's the one thing that unites this country right now, folks. And he's, with everything that's happening and the way everything's exploding, he's like literally on the trigger to press that insurrection, martial law, cancel the election, whatever I have to do to stay in power. So we'll get into that. But anyway, Zev, all yours, brother. Sorry about that.
Oh no, I'm just here to talk to you guys. So whatever you guys want to talk about, I can share stuff. I can echo what you're saying about how important it is that all this work is getting done. I was up till 4 a.m. reading these files, and up again at 9, just reading them again. There's so much information in there. It's so in depth and so many different directions. Yesterday, I posted a story about the Russian ties of Jeffrey Epstein. I had no idea that he had visas to Russia from 2002 onwards for like 16 years.
Horrible.
Who would have so many trips to Russia? But of course he did, partially because he was picking up girls over there apparently, but also, on 2 occasions on these visas, he reports, or someone who filled in the files, the visa application, that they were going to go see Wimpel, which is a sort of an how would you describe Wimpel?
It's an FSB veteran-run organization, right? Yeah.
Well, there's Wimpel is the actual FSB-like organization, but then there's a veterans organization. I think that's right.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah,
100%.
Correct.
And the other one, he goes and he's going to go visit the Ministry of Economic Development, of Putin's Economic Development Ministry. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I mean, I haven't been to Moscow. I'd like to go to Moscow one day, but not under this regime. And I certainly wouldn't want to be anywhere near Wimpel or the Department of Economic Development. So what was he doing there? And, you add that to all the many extensive dots that we have about his connections to Russia, about Robert Maxwell's connections to Russia. The thing that you, Lev, and I discovered was the Churkin connection, who was the ambassador to the United Nations for Russia. And I didn't realize this, but someone mentioned to me years ago how close Jeffrey Epstein's place was to the U.S. The UN consulate or UN embassy, I think it is actually in New York. Not the main one, not the Russian consulate. That was on 91st Avenue, but on 67th, 91st Street, on 67th Street, just 4 blocks away from where Jeffrey Epstein lived. The Churkin's office was there. The UN office for the United Nations for Russia was right there, about 4 blocks away from him, 8 minutes walk away from him. So if Churkin wanted to come by and do some business, and he did on occasion, he came to Jeffrey Epstein's home quite a lot. No one would notice. No one would be tracking one guy leaving the office, going up the street 4 blocks, and then popping into Jeffrey Epstein's home. So, these are all leading us to stuff we already suspected. We already knew there was $1.1 billion in transactions that went through Russian banks that are now sanctioned. We knew that there were at least 2 women in his immediate circle that were Russian spies or had connections to Putin. And so, it's becoming clearer and clearer that the intelligence connection between Jeffrey Epstein and the KGB and the successor agencies like FSB was quite big. Now, to what extent, and would you call him an asset? Would you call him an agent? Would you call him just someone who's connected? I don't know. But there were a lot of intelligence connections.
Yeah, Lev, you're from Russia. You've been to Russia. You know the players. Is there anything? I mean, it's not just the Guardian, the Daily Mail, other major news outlets. The incredible work of Zev Shalev, who's been on this for 10 years. Is there any other assumption other than that he is completely owned by Russia or an agent of Russia and Mossad? Is there any? I mean, because there was an email that went out today that I saw that was redacted, and what was redacted was Netanyahu's email address and Netanyahu's picture with Jeffrey Epstein. So my question to you is this a full-on capture by, the FSB in Russia? Is that what he was? Is that what he is?
100%. I mean, just you gotta understand something. Like you got, I mean, to be, and I was somebody I could talk from experience because I was not as powerful and nowhere near Jeffrey Epstein's connections worldwide because of his financial. So, but I was at a very tip and a glimpse of, about it because I had the power of Donald Trump and the presidency at that time behind me when I traveled and met with these individuals. So I could tell you one thing. Yes, when you get into those circles and when you're dealing with the what's it called, it's a different level, it's a different ball game, it's a different. But the one thing that Jeffrey Epstein, I guarantee you, wasn't realizing because and I saw a lot of because I remember my background. I was in Russia in the fall of the 89, 90, 91. I saw the beginnings of the manipulation of the American system, how money was being made, how when the flow came over here. I was part of giving them the L1 visas. It's part of that whole flow. So I saw it all play out in the open and part of that whole thing was getting their, whatever information is key. And there was the infiltrating basically into the power, the elite, the rich, the connected. What I'm saying to be, and once they would get their hands, I guarantee you, Epstein, and that's why, like you see, he was. They made him feel like a king. He probably didn't. I don't believe. Again, I will see it. I don't think just from my option that he was one of these like where okay, here I'm your agent. Like 007, and I'm your agent.
He didn't have a
007.
contract with the FSB that you can point to. Yeah.
No, but he was definitely being used, manipulated, and told and acted on behalf because it benefited him.
Yeah.
because these people do things, same thing with the Mossad and Israel and everything. Yeah, Epstein was doing, and the way these intelligent agencies work, that's how they set it up. Even how Donald Trump was used and set up through all the years, because they knew he was corrupt. They knew he was what, so they would set up situations and then bail him out of those situations. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Because they knew it would benefit him. So, they didn't have to come and scare Epstein and saying this and that. They would give Epstein what he wanted, either a contract or a deal or some girls or this or that. And in return, Epstein would give him, oh, by the way, when you see this one, get me some, or did you hear anything about this? It's like, it's a different level. If you're ever been to the golf course and you're just shooting the shit with your, or what's it called? Just, this is the type of shit, but on a major, major level. It's not, that's as crazy as it seems, but that's how it rolls.
Someone described it to me as a clubhouse, that Epstein's
Yeah, exactly.
place was a clubhouse for all the richest and most powerful people in the world. And
Yeah.
whatever happened in there was supposedly going to stay in there, because that's the impression he gave people, that's how secure that location was. But if you make it, from the Russian perspective, how great is it to be able to not only get all this inside information? I mean, some of these young women that came from Russia were actually spies, were sleeping with these guys, but also
They're still
getting
here.
information
They're
about
still
the
here.
business.
They are.
Sorry. Yeah,
Some of them are still
today.
here.
Yeah,
Some of them are
still
still
married to them. Some of them.
intertwined, still married. Some are still mistresses. Some are still intertwined inside, so deep inside of Trump world. I can't even tell you. Go ahead, Zev. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely important for everyone to realize. This is not stopped. This was, Epstein's network is so vast, and there were so many women. And imagine from Kremlin's perspective, not only you're getting inside information from these victims, these business people that you're spying on, you're also getting all this compromise at the same time, which means you've got exactly what you need to get them to do whatever you want them to do. So how great a situation for them to have both of these things, have all these powerful people, and then have the evidence to use against them if they needed it. And every major politician and every major business person knows that this is how it's done. There's always these behind the scenes trades, whether it happens in Congress through lobbyists or other things, where they say, hey, you want to rethink that. You want to rethink voting on that bill, because if you vote on that bill, you're not going to get elected next time. And because we've got the goods on you. And that's just how politics really work.
Yeah, everyone.
Unfortunately. And Epstein was a specialist at this.
So what came first, Zev, Lev? You guys would know. What came first? Did Epstein, was he compromised by Russia? He seems like he was a little smarter than Donald Trump. Or was Donald Trump compromised by Russia? Epstein knew about it working with the Russians, and they continued to feed his ego. Because, Lev, what you're saying is true, and Donald Trump is only now coming around to realize that Russia and the FSB has surrounded him and made all of this possible. He must be the dumbest motherfucker on the planet.
Well, I'll just say I wouldn't say they're the dumbest in the planet, because you gotta understand, in the '80s and the early '90s, when it was already, when you started seeing that there were, the fall of the Soviet Union was coming, people inside the KGB, people inside the, because before the FSB it was the KGB and all these intelligence agencies in the Soviet Union, already back in the '80s, so start. That's why I think Trump, from what I'm hearing, and I think Zev's hearing the same thing, his compromise started going back into the '80s with, when he got married to Ivana Trump. You know what I'm saying to you, and other things. Epstein. I don't know how far, how long, and maybe Zev might know better, or we might know in the records when his first relationship started. But I would also probably say it would have to have been somewhere in the late '80s, '90s, because that was when the real push by the KGB was here and to infiltrate here. That's when you saw a lot during that commotion, during the fall of the KGB, during that nobody understood who was who. That's when I remember a lot of, these oligarchs, all these politicians underwave, smuggled a lot of money overseas, used like Trump Towers and others and the Witkoffs of the world to clean up their money, intertwine themselves into society here, and are now, what I could say to you, I mean, very, very strongly. That's why, like, some of the things I've been, me and Zev speak offline sometimes, and I'm still working on. But, when we get the full evidence and the facts, the way we could break it to you, where we could connect the actual dots, without just, what we're talking about, actually, like, I think, what Witkoff was told by Dmitriev about what they really have on Trump over the past 40 years. And I've seen it just the tip of the iceberg, because Trump was surrounded by a vast majority, because he was so, he fit all the molds. He was crooked. He was flamboyant. He was rich. He was ambitious.
Pervert.
He was, he
Yeah.
had he had a pervert, so he had a lot of things in his closet. And at that moment, he dealt with the mob, which was perfect for them, because that was, Roy Cohn and the facts. So that's what I could tell you.
So
I don't know
interesting.
who came
Yeah.
first. Yeah, I don't know who came first, the chicken or the egg, but I would say I'm curious to see, Zev, what time frame, how far back Epstein goes with the Russians,
Yeah.
because I would bet to assume
Epstein
it would
goes
have been
back.
around it.
Yeah, it goes back to like 1987. I think is his first trip to
There you
Russia
go.
with
There you go.
Esther Dyson.
There you
And
go.
back then it was kind of difficult to get in, and they went into a very unusual
Yep.
territory. I think they went to one of these
You couldn't
cordoned
get
off
in.
nuclear zones.
You
And
couldn't
so
get in.
everyone's surprised that they got in that deep. Esther Dyson also landed up helping Masha Drukova and that other Russian spy that was with Epstein a lot settle in the United States. So Dyson becomes an interesting figure as well. But as to who came first, the thing is, when the Soviet Union collapsed, the KGB didn't collapse with it. The KGB is still the
That's right.
KGB. It just called it something else today. And what they had done before the collapse of the Soviet Union is decided to embark on what they were calling a system of economic warfare against capitalism. They were going to embed as much money as they can in the capitalist system and corrupt it. And there was
Corrupted.
about $50 billion that exited the Soviet Union, which was a lot of money back then. And Robert Maxwell was one of the people who facilitated a lot of that moving of money. And so this is money designed to corrupt American capitalism. And how did they do that? Well, they did it by creating all these billionaires. I mean, these sort of, people have come out of nowhere and become billionaires who
Right.
shouldn't be billionaires. This is what they were able to do. And then they also did these pump and dumps in the market, where they would increase the stock market and then crash it. And then they would do that in various sectors. And that's how we got the 87 crash, the dot-com crash, how we got to 2008 and many others. And so this is, you start with a small amount like that, you do it over and over again. It's also an investment, even if it's an illicit investment. It just kept growing and growing and growing until today, where we've got that massive debt and no one knows where all that money went to, and why we suddenly have all these Russian billionaires running around the world, the Russian-linked billionaires. That's how. And people
Yep.
knew that if you were a part of that club, you were more likely to become a billionaire because you got funding,
Yep.
you got support. How did Donald Trump emerge from so many bankruptcies with so much money? Only because of Russian help. That's why he went to Russia in 87 and 96. And by the way, 87 is an interesting year as well, because Churkin was the person who actually brought Donald Trump to Russia on that trip. He was one of the organizers. He
Well,
was
that's
number
right.
2
Churkin,
at
that's
the
right.
time.
And Churkin,
Yeah.
and there you go. And interesting, because you say how hard. Just to give you guys an example, my first trip back to Russia, it was the Soviet Union back. It was in 1989, right before. That's when I first went back there. And the only
That was the
reason
year
I
of the
was
Scorpions
studying,
concert in Red Square. Did you go to that one? Did you go to the Scorpions
I didn't
concert in
go
Red
to
Square?
that. I didn't go to the Scorpions guy. But I can tell you, it was one of the reasons why I went is because I was clean cut. I had an American citizenship. I was able to get. It took me like several months to be able to get approved for a visa to get travel. And then when I went through the process, if you guys read my book or you hear the story, I mean, it was like very difficult even to get through. And then you had, as soon as you walked out the doors, like literally off the plane, you had KGB agents following you. If you were an American, it didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter if you were just like, you could have pretended that you were a sewer, you cleaned the sewers, you would have been followed by the KGB. KGB. That's I was followed. I know, and that's what I'm telling you. It was like a different world at that time before, and people really need to understand. So it wasn't, and also I think it wasn't a matter of who came first, the chicken or the egg, because I think the most important part, I think that what me and Zev are saying, Dean, is at that time this was the plan. The plan was to infiltrate the United States, the Europe, all over the world with
Yeah.
these oligarchs with this money, economically infiltrate, see themselves, and who would you do it? So the people like the Epsteins of the world, the Trumps of the world, the Lutnicks of the world, the Bessettes of the world, the Weinsteins, all of these people that we're talking about, these are all people that ran in the same circle. These were all people. So it was very easy to, why we start now are seeing the chain, the connections, and are connecting the dots, because in those years, these are who were the powerful people and who did, a lot of these, financial crimes together, and all of these, now that we're seeing the pedophilia and everything, that's connecting a lot of these people together. And by the way, a lot of people are asking Melania. I promise you, we're definitely going to get to Melania because I have some very interesting information for you guys about that whole Clinton, Melania, Comer, and Trump behind the scenes of this whole investigative stuff, which we'll get into later on. Dean, write it down. Make sure I don't forget about that.
Yeah, I will.
There's some breaking news.
Can I just?
I will.
I'll do that. Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to
Zev.
correct myself. I said in 1987. It was 1998. I got confused by Trump being 1987. So I don't want anyone to think that it was both of them in 1987. I apologize for that.
1998, yeah, same thing, because it was the
Yeah.
late 80s and the 90s, and while the fall, because that would be it would be the same time when that whole thing was happening. So absolutely.
Yeah, it's to say that it's all coming together is light work. I mean, from everything that we've consumed, specifically from this last dump, not only does it appear to be, and people like yourself, Lev, that are in the know, and Zev, who's done 10 years of research into this. This is very much a Russian operative. This is very much a Russian operation. This is very much something that's been going on, for decades. And I go back to, that idea that, not only is somehow Donald Trump been able to convince, MAGA, his followers, that, he's got nothing to do with Russia, which is fucking fascinating. Like, all he has to say is Russia, Russia, Russia. Okay, here we go. And all of a sudden people are like, yeah, it's not Russia. It can't be Russia. Look at him. He's mocking it. Russia, Russia, Russia. Who would admit to it? Go ahead.
This is me in 1989, 90 in Russia.
So
He's
you on the
sitting
right?
next to me. That's me. Obviously, I'm not the one with the mustache, dude. I mean,
Who's the other
that's me
guy?
with the tie. The other guy is. I'd like for you to Google it. His name is Salim. From Uzbekistan. He is one of the biggest warlords. He's actually, I'll tell you a funny story. So the guy, remember Felix Sater,
Yeah.
helped the CIA and FBI with Osama bin Laden information.
Mhm.
So Salim was the one that helped
Is
him
that
with the
Salim
information. Yeah,
Abdullah?
Abdullah.
Wait, I think
Yeah. He's
yeah. Wait a
yeah,
second. I know
yeah.
that guy.
So he was like my grandfather. He was my grandfather, and
Wow.
so just so you understand, yeah. He was my. This is me
You
and
got
him.
pedigree.
This is in Uzbekistan. This is 1989. Just so you understand.
And just
He
a fresh face,
well,
19-year-old Lev Parnas.
he ran. He's like close to 9. It was him and Gafoor. Gafoor is in Dubai right now. They ran the country basically. I mean, from and Uzbekistan. Just so you understand, I'll give you a little history. When Salim was the one that allowed them to use America to use the air bases when we in the attack in the Iraq War, when we were using the bases. So I mean, we could talk about other stuff, but I'm just saying. So that was like
That's
my grandfather.
fascinating. Was he? They were involved in the drug trade, right? I think into
Yeah.
Colombia and a whole
biggest,
bunch of other places.
the biggest.
These were
Well, that's how I told you the black money came in and funding the war against Ukraine,
Right.
and Iran and all, and that's why Gafoor has been in Dubai for so many years, because he gets what's it called? Nobody touches him there. Put it to you that way.
Yeah.
Protection.
Right.
Yeah.
Protection.
Yeah.
So and we'll talk offline about that. But I forgot to tell you about that connection. So that's also very important, Zev, to understand how back in those days, because these were some of the main players that were involved in structuring, but he was like behind the scenes. But all of like the players like Berezovsky, all of them, they bowed down to guys like Salim. Salim and them ran the, like they were part of the board that put Putin in power. They were behind the part that Putin put.
Right.
These were Putin's partners in the back.
Also, Semyon Mogilevich, right, was one of those guys.
Semyon Mogilevich used to be Dmitry Firtash's partner. I met Semyon. The first time I met Semyon Mogilevich was in 2000. Had to have been probably around 2009, maybe 2008, 2009, in Ukraine, actually.
Wow. What's he like?
Yeah.
What's he like as a person?
He's an interesting. I mean, listen, they're so powerful. It's like, it's a different world when, you meet with them, especially somebody like me, it's like very much respect. I mean, they control the world. I mean, they talk about living life to the best. The way they live life, the way they spend money, the way they enjoy things. I mean, some people wouldn't even believe the type of things that they do. But at the same time, they control and rule. Like Simeon, like at that time, he was taking over, I think, Budapest and like that part of Romania, and moving into there. If I'm correct, I don't remember if it was.
Yeah, he's also
Romania
connected to Robert Maxwell, because he was Robert Maxwell's business partner.
Well,
Elaine's dad.
Yeah, well,
Elaine's dad.
he was Putin. He's the main, like, he's the godfather of the Russian mob. Like, I mean, he is. If you had Ivankov, if you remember, there was actually the Ivankov, which was, they called him the Japanese guy, Yaponchik.
Yes.
So,
I can't remember the nickname. Yes.
Yaponchik, the Japanese guy. So just so you understand, he stayed in my house when he came here to the America. When he got arrested like literally. We were together that night till 3 a.m. at Troika, the restaurant in New Jersey, where they were. And then the next morning they arrested him. And just so you understand, I used to deliver packages to him to prison when he would write letters. So just so you understand,
dude, you're fucking the most colorful guy on the planet. Yeah, like, I'm gonna come down to Florida and just talk about Lev Parnas from 1985 until 2016. That's all I want to talk about.
There's a movie.
There's a fucking couple movies there. Let's move into Ghislaine Maxwell if we can.
By the way, just to give you some for our subscribers out there, that just give you a little fun stuff about Michael Cohen, because we're talking about that time frame. So around 2000. Oh no, this go back 1990, around 1995, 93. So there were some very powerful Russian individuals that came from Semyon Mogilevich's group here to the United States, part of Ivankov and that whole group, that were making, they were like bonding with the Italian mob on Brighton Beach, like they were, because earlier the Italians and the Russians were more like the Italians controlled the Russians here because it was the doors were closed from the international Russians from coming in.
Right.
But once doors opened in, and they came in with the power of the money and the international power, the Italian mob in New York basically took a shit. They couldn't, so they had to
it's like Cosa Nostra was.
Yeah. So I was the link. I was the intermediary between when this was going on at the time. So when these guys came down, and they were, where our sit down was the first time where we met was at the
Tatiana.
El Carib.
El Carib.
At the El Carib, at the country club. The person that owns the El Carib Country Club was Morty Levine.
Michael Cohen.
Morty Levine is, just so you know, is Michael Cohen's uncle. He passed away already, but Michael Cohen writes about him in his book. So just so you know, I know Michael Cohen's uncle probably better than Michael Cohen himself, and the El Carib and everything else like that. So just to say, that's how far I go back and tie the links there.
It's fucking crazy.
Can I ask I know you want to talk about so much else, but I'm so fascinated by this.
Yeah, that's what happens. Anytime Lev starts talking about this stuff, Zev's like, I'm keyed up. Now I can put some puzzle pieces together. Lev, tell me more.
Because this is rolling up. They called it the rolling up of the Italian mob, right? The Russians came here some of them came in as part of the refugees that came out of Russia, of the Soviet Union, the Jewish refugees that are Fuseniks. Many of them sort of landed up at Brighton Beach. They were renting apartments from Donald Trump. And they were smarter in many ways than the Italians because they were doing financial crimes where the Italians were just doing, run-of-the-mill street crime, and it was very deadly, and they were killing each other. It wasn't as clean as the Russian mobsters that came in there, and so the Russians taught them how to do these financial crimes and also learn from them. So I'm just curious about how that all rolled out. I mean, when you were in it,
Yeah,
is that what it
I'll
was?
tell you. I'll
Like,
tell you.
that's really how it
Uh,
happened?
uh, we could do a special about it, but I'll give you like a
Yeah.
quick, 30 sec because, since you brought it up. So the man that was in charge, the Russian godfather, his name was Murat Balagula. That was right before EFCA. I don't know if you know Murat Balagula. I grew up, he was like an uncle to me. I was best friends with his younger daughter, Oksana. I grew up in that world. Actually, Michael Cohen was friendlier with his older daughter, Malvina. This is how this is what I was saying to you. So you understand how much I know about that individual.
Yeah.
Very small world, very small world.
Yeah.
So he was the brains, so the Russians weren't connected so they had like in their own little community, you'd have the racketeering, they ran the numbers and the gambling, but it was like Brighton Beach to their own little community until the big tax scheme that Murat Balagula came up with, which was stealing the tax off the gasoline, the state tax off the gasoline. At that point, he partnered up with what's his name? He's all the time on. Let me guess. Fuck. I said he became from the Lucchese crime family. Anyway, I'll get you his name. So they partnered up, and that was the beginning of the Italians and the Russians together because they started making billions on the tax scam, So they said, and I was actually at the time I was like 15, 16 years old. I was working for Fred Trump, actually selling apartments. Also at night, I would be driving, delivering money from my uncle, collecting money from the gas stations, the cash from the skim from the tax.
I didn't know that was the case. I didn't know you were skimming off the gas.
Well, he wasn't. He was just collecting it.
Well,
No, not me. I was collecting their skim. So basically, yeah, I would drive around. I was you gotta read my book. I was
he was the Russian mob's brink truck. Yeah,
I just
like
meant
$2 million in my cash in my car.
I just meant
yeah. Sorry, sorry. Hang on. No. Lev's getting into a story. Let him finish. He had $2 million. I want him to finish his fucking story. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, yeah, we'll get into it. Go ahead. Let Zev ask the question. Go ahead, Zev.
Well, I just want to know what the scheme was. How were they skimming money off the gas?
Okay, so basically there was a state tax that it would be collected by. So the gas would come into the terminal, right? So then the terminal would then sell it wholesale to a wholesaler. The wholesaler would have to collect the tax when he sold it to the retail, to the gas station. So the intermediary, what they would do is they would get these Russian and Polish and people from Eastern Europe to come here. They would open corporations on their name to make that the middleman that would be collecting the tax, and then they would send them out. And then basically they would buy from the terminal. So they would buy the gas at 50 cents. They would sell it to the gas station at $1, and the 25 cents tax or the 20 cents tax that they collected, they would keep. And that was the part until they got even bigger, which then they started buying the gas stations, and then they owned the gas station. Then they bought the terminal. Then they had the terminal also. And I mean, this was like, just so you understand, in what was this, 80s, 90s, I don't even remember how, 1990, whatever, or 80 something, I think it was, it was like in the billions, like $8 billion, what's it called, tax. So that was where it started. Murat Balagula, then he went on the lam. They ended up catching him 3 years later. He ended up doing 18 years in prison. He never ratted ratted anybody out. So actually, his daughter reached out to me, and she found some of his old stuff. Actually, I could speak to you, Zev, because they want to publish his book, some of the stuff, because he
Yeah.
never talked, never. He was the original Russian. I mean, the original. That's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so
Actually.
interesting. I'd love to read that. And it's all tied in with Trump, and it's all tied in with all these other people that were there.
All with Trump. Trump was all over the place. Witkoff's, all of them. This was the world. This was the time frame.
Yeah, like how many? Here's a quick question before we get, because I want to get to Ghislaine Maxwell and something that Zev brought up the other day too, and then we can move on to a couple other things, including that incredibly racist tweet that Donald Trump put out, among others, and we'll hopefully get to Canada as well. Some big stuff happening here, but help me understand then, because this is what people don't understand. I'm seeing it in the chat. God bless you all for being here. All of our subs, hit that little chyron at the top. You can follow us all with one click of the thumb, but. What's fascinating to me is that you're giving backstory and information about not just how small and incestuous that world is. You're letting people into the knowledge that so many New Yorkers, so many mobsters back in the day, so many people that were involved in the underground economy of what New York was and still to some extent still is, that Donald Trump and Fred Trump, the Trump family, was deeply involved.
Deep.
Deeply involved with both mobs,
You can't
right?
get deep. You can't get any deep.
I mean, they're laundering money.
You can't get any deep.
Tons of money for the Italians, and then it was just that was their business. That was what they did.
His partner, his first partner that Roy Cohn introduced him to was Fat Tony Salerno.
Yeah.
Fat Tony Salerno was the head of the Genovese crime family, and I used to date Fat Tony Salerno's illegitimate daughter. Me and Rudy
really?
put and Rudy put Fat Tony Salerno away for 100 years in prison, and then delivered cigars to him in prison, and we had these stories together. That's how crazy this fucking world is.
That is insane. That is so interesting. And Trump was actually a snitch on that case, if I'm not mistaken, snitch in inverted commas. But he landed up getting a deal with Giuliani not to get prosecuted in the cement price fixing thing that they were doing with Fat Tony. So Fat Tony went to jail, and Trump didn't get to go to jail.
So Trump's a rat on top of all of it.
Yeah, I did. Definitely a rat.
Yeah,
so stayed out of trouble.
No. Not only that, but he's, I know. Okay, I don't know for a fact, but just from my knowledge of friends in Atlantic City. Especially, remember the days when Trump built Taj Mahal in Atlantic City. This was the days where also there's another interesting connection. So Zev, where Trump and the Russian, where how the Russians infiltrated Trump world back then, also through artists. So Trump used to have Taj Mahal and Trump world and all of this. So they would have all of these celebrity artists hold these big concerts in Taj Mahal that they would deliver them, and all of these artists at that time were heavily connected. You couldn't have been a famous artist in the Soviet Union unless you were like deep in the KGB or yourself somehow. You know what I'm saying to you? So
right.
And then they started. I can't even explain to you the amount of money and business that was, because you concentrate just on the money that was spent through his companies, like real estate companies. What you need to take a look at, Zev, is how much money went into the casinos and.
I've done that.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, the greatest heist in the first book.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. I love you.
No, it's fine.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you another story. So I'll give you a typical day. This would be a.
God, I feel like I'm just watching this podcast. This is incredible. Go ahead.
So I'll give you like a Friday or a Saturday. Like I'd go collect. So my routine would be I'd come to the office right in the morning, like around 9:30, 10 o'clock. And
is the office the back room of a butcher's shop? In this case,
no, it would be like just like this office in New Jersey, like like 500 square feet.
All right, like in a strip mall. Yeah.
It was in the second floor. There was one room where the secretary, like the girls, sat there, where the guys would just meet, and then there was another room there where they had machines to count the money. You know what I'm saying to you? That was basically it, you know what I'm saying to you? Because what we would do is we'd meet in the morning. It was called Moon Oil. The name of that company that at the time was called Moon Oil. And I would in the morning I would come there. I'd get they tell me like where I'd go and I'd start. So the company was in New Jersey. So my route would be I'd start from the morning and I would drive all the way down south to like towards Atlantic City from north like New York and all the way up, and I'd stop at all these gas stations and I would collect either checks or cash. They
Oh,
would pay for the gas that was delivered overnight. And a lot of the gas stations would be big Mobil, Exxon that would literally have our gas delivered at night so nobody would see it because they couldn't buy gas from because they would have to like say pay from Mobil, Exxon, like because if you're a name brand you'd pay let's say $1.20. We'd sell it to them for $1. You know what 20
right.
cents on a gasoline, you can't even imagine the millions
Huge.
of dollars. Right. So they would so in the middle of the night we would deliver the oil, I mean the gasoline to all of these, and then I would collect the money. So by the end of that, I would usually have anywhere between $1.5 to $3 million cash, and then all
Wow.
kinds of checks and stuff in my trunk. I'll never forget. I had this white Lincoln Town Car. It was like 1989, I think, or 88, or some shit like that. Like the big monster, like Lincoln Town
What
Car.
a
And I was this
scene.
young kid. Oh my God. So I'd come back to the office, typical Friday. Some other guys, I wasn't the only runner. We'd all come to the office. And then from like 5 to like 6 for the next like hour and a half, 2 hours, all you would hear, the machines go,
And people think that
you would
money
hear it.
didn't cost anyone money, but it actually, that's what increases the price of gas for everybody. And that's why
Yeah. I mean,
inflation went up. And that's why there was all these. So everyone always says that these mob crimes don't have victims, but everyone's a victim in some ways
yeah.
because
Oh,
that's how
absolutely.
that's profit gets passed on.
Absolutely. So watch how the profit went passed on. So let's say there were $10 million that daily take. So like my uncle Arcady Safer, he passed away already. But and the other guys, their partners from Rasputin, that restaurant, they grabbed let's say $2-3 million out of that take, and then we'd go to Atlantic City. We go Trump Taj Mahal, and they'd leave it there, gambling all night long, leaving it there. Like this would be like a weekly routine, like just some stuff, just simple stuff like that. Like
Well, that's what Ivankov did, right? That's what Yaponchik did. And that's
you're
why
pointing.
I, I think he was the reason. He was already. He was. I think he decided, or maybe even the Atlantic Gaming Commission landed up citing him as being the guy who used to launder a lot of money. He used to bring suitcases of cash to Atlantic City, and
Yeah.
Trump would just clear it for him. They'd run it through the
Well, we did that.
casino, and then
We would
that
do it.
money would land up
Yeah.
being.
You would do that. So you were doing that with these guys, and Trump fully knew what he was doing in these Atlantic City
Okay.
casinos,
Okay.
right?
Let me reframe it. Trump was not collecting. Stop. Not. Let's not make it seem like I was handing bags $2-3 million.
Like the
No, not
casino.
Trump. But Trump knew full well that guys that were coming in with those suitcases, he greenlit them and said, "You guys go right ahead."
Listen,
right?
it was put it to you this way: it was obviously green lit because it was going into the casinos. It had to be if it was a Trump managers, whoever. But these were all high rollers. We were coming in with $2, $3, $4 million in cash, sometimes even more on a weekly basis, and literally, they would hand it over, then they would go play some, and some of it, whatever wasn't played, would get wired over into, you know what I'm saying to you.
Yeah.
So that's how the money. So we did that in Las Vegas also. Basically,
Of
you
course
would
you
put the
did.
money, and then you'd get it wired back, and then the money was clean because it was like you won it at the casino where you was. Because back then the IRS
minus
codes were a lot
10%,
different.
right?
Texas. Look at
10% went to the house.
What a fucking
cost,
life you've led. Oh my God. It's funny because you mention these things, you touch on them. Maybe we had to get to know each other over the past year for you to unload some of these stories. But, the reason why I think you're sharing, this could be me, and I think everybody here is kind of tuned into this, is that not only, that's how you survived back in Brighton Beach, being the son of immigrants, being involved in this community, but you had a front row seat to see how fucking corrupt this guy was. You had a front row seat to see, why, and 40 years later, you now have not only a front row seat to narrate who he's in business with, why he's in business, but the fact that he's literally doing the business of the Russian mob to date as the fucking president of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, it was all of these things were like, these were seeds that were laid out over the years that have come to flourish right
Yeah.
now. There was a lot of, and that's why Zev says all the time, and then everybody make sure to go follow Zev Shalev, the narrative, because a lot of the stuff I'm telling you, he's probably one of the only other people that talks about it. There's some very few others that has been talking about it, talks about it all the time, and people think he's crazy or that he's, talking about, but he's not, because I could tell you I lived it, and that's why we're gonna do a lot more stuff. And God put us together, and we're gonna uncover some of these people are dead already. Some of these people are not around, but a lot of it, the stuff that they put into place and the stuff is still in motion. A lot of it's still working till this day. A lot of different names have changed, faces have moved on, but the systems have stayed in place. And one of the things that what I always say to myself, if I ever would ever get into Congress, if I would ever be like a congressman or a senator, I would flip shit upside down.
Boy.
You should run.
I'll tell you, I don't know. My wife would kill me probably, but I'm just saying to you. But like I can't even imagine. I'm still unsupervised. Really,
dude. You know how many people would vote for you based on the fact that and you're like, I'm willing to fucking say it.
I swear to you. I swear to you. I sometimes I would sit here. I would just want to just go in there and just destroy. Because the first thing I would destroy if I was in there, I'll tell you, is the super PACs, the foreign money corruption. That's the first.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right now, this is the number one thing right now that has infiltrated our country to such a degree that is allowing all of these other countries, oligarchy, mobsters, all
Same
of
in
these
Canada.
different bad actors to be able to legally bribe our government. And what you're seeing Donald Trump just exploded and took it to a different level, right in your face. But it's been going on and it's going on. So that is the first thing, because when you stop the money, then you can start. Because the reason why these people sit there for 40 years in office and don't want to get out is because think about how much they walk in with $100,000, they leave with $100 million. It's a gravy train.
Absolutely.
It's a money chain, and so that's why I'm saying to you, that would be the first thing I changed, is how that money goes in. Because our elections, because that's another thing we should talk about, switch over. This is a good segment about what's going with the election, because the elections is the number one thing, folks, that is right now that he's trying to take away. The election is the number one thing, and the election should be grassroots. Election should be, everybody should be equal. It shouldn't matter if you have $1 billion or I have $10,000, but the most we could donate is $2,000 or $2,700. We should be equal to that, because our voice should be equal. It shouldn't be that because you have $1 billion and you can write them a check to a super PAC for $100,000 or $1 million, and I'm going to write a check for $2,700, and obviously my voice doesn't matter. And that's why we started learning that the voice of the American people stopped mattering, because it's the oligarchy system that the KGB, that Russia has implemented around the world, is what Donald Trump is trying to implement right now. No, Zev? Isn't it the same exact model that he's trying to do right now?
Yeah.
He is turning, it's amazing when you mentioned the seeds that started to grow back then, and those small seeds have grown and grown and grown and become this monstrous thing that is controlling the United States now, controlling the presidency, controlling the government, the legislature, and all these foreign policy deals and all these shifts and maneuvers around threatening war and plundering countries for their assets. It's all the same mob. They've just grown into this a powerful entity that's now ruling a huge chunk of the world. And as much as 72% of the world now, they say, is autocratic. They're all the same shtick. They're all doing the same thing. And they're taking away people's rights. And this will be the last. If this election is free and fair, and it's a big if, considering what Tulsi Gabbard has been doing, if it can be a free and fair, it might be the last one.
That.
Yeah, I want to get to Tulsi Gabbard.
Before you go, let's read that, and then we're gonna bring Nick up. Zev, I want Zev to comment on the Tulsi Gabbard thing, and then let's bring Nick Paro up. I know we guys. I'm sorry it's taking a little long, but there's a lot of information important we wanted to share with you. So I apologize some of the story stuff. Hopefully you enjoyed it though. But
are you fucking serious? You have nothing to apologize for, dude. I could have made a cup of hot cocoa and sat and listened to that for fucking 2 hours. So don't you dare fucking apologize. Lev, Zev, something that's brewing.
Go ahead.
No. So go ahead, and I'll get to Tulsi in just a second. Go ahead.
No, talk Tulsi, please.
Well, everybody's aware that there's a whistleblower that had some information that Tulsi Gabbard had tried to bury for like 8 months, right? And Tulsi Gabbard is the DNI, no DNI. She's a cult member from fucking Hawaii who follows this whack job named Paul Baxter, who now calls himself the Buggy Bodgista or something like that. Who fucking knows? Doesn't matter. She's a cult member, so she's perfect for the Trump regime. Well, she's the DNI. As you all know, she helped Trump, and depending on who you ask, she said Trump sent her there. Trump said Bondi told him that DNI, Tulsi Gabbard needed to go there. It's like musical chairs of who's throwing who under the fucking bus at the moment in time. Tulsi Gabbard is in a lot of fucking trouble, not just for what she did in Fulton County, trying to find, some kind of reason to justify Donald Trump's big lie and some kind of reason to justify the theft of 2026 and possibly 2028. But it also came out at the same time that she had obtained a Smartmatic voting machine in Puerto Rico and was fucking around with that as well. And according to her, and just her with no evidence, there were, quote, serious irregularities in Puerto Rico with the Smartmatic machine, number one. And number two, now there's serious irregularities in Fulton County. We don't know this. This is just Donald Trump trying to prove to everybody that he won in 2020, which he didn't, and trying to justify canceling the elections because he recently, after that news came out, launched this fucking idea that the election should be nationalized and only Republicans should be trusted to fucking count all the votes, to which Lev said last week when we got back together, that's a Putin thing. Doesn't matter who votes, it matters who fucking counts the votes. So there you go. Back to the end result, which is trying to cook the next election. But something else has happened, and this whistleblower is talking. Whistleblower intercepted from the NSA, intercepted a conversation with someone in the Oval Office that is either Trump or someone attached to Trump, with a foreign intelligence service taking information and direction from this foreign intelligence service and then applying that information and direction of another government via presidential decree, via presidential emergency order. This is buried. This has been buried 8 months ago. And to that point, let me walk you through what happened. Whistleblower hears the actual conversation. This whistleblower loses their fucking mind. He starts sharing it with his compatriots in the NSA, and they say, you have to go to DNI and tell her about this. They go to Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard then freaks out, gets a paper copy of the conversation, dusts the digital copy of the conversation that happened, and takes this paper copy to Susie Wiles, Chief of Staff to Donald J. Trump. Susie Wiles then tells Tulsi Gabbard, in no way, shape, or form are you allowed to run this through proper channels and get some answers as to what this is all about. We're going to keep this in-house, and we're not going to fucking tell a soul about it. Well, that was 8 months ago. The whistleblower did not get what they wanted, which was that this information had to be run through proper channels for transparency, because it is that bad of a fucking phone call. We still don't know what was on the phone call. We can sort of imagine what might have been on the phone call. Might have been related to Ukraine, might have been related to Russia and Ukraine, and it might have had something to do with Donald Trump and Ukraine, however, and Putin. However, leave that to the side. We don't really know exactly what was in the conversation. So now the whistleblower is talking. He gave, this whistleblower is a male, gave Tulsi Gabbard and the government of the United States of America, which is captured and corrupt by Donald Trump and the rest of these fascist dickheads, till the Friday, this last Friday. Well, that came and went. Now the whistleblower is talking. And let me read this to you. Last spring, National Security Agency detected evidence of a very unusual phone call between individual associated with foreign intelligence, a person close to Donald Trump, according to the whistleblower's attorney, briefed on the existence of the call. The highly sensitive communique has roiled Washington over the past week, was brought to the attention of Tulsi Gabbard. Instead of allowing the NSA officials to distribute the information as required, she took a paper copy of the intelligence directly to the president's chief of staff and his attorney, Andrew Bakij. One day after the meeting, Wiles Gabbard told the NSA, do not publish the intelligence report. Give all of that information going forward to the office of the president of the United States. Ladies and gentlemen, thoughts?
I mean, Tulsi Gabbard is
before we let him go.
She's a Russian agent. I mean, she's not even an actor. I mean, she is. As far as I can see, she takes orders. It's in a way that we've not, in her election campaign, which was trying to run for president. It's just clear that that's who she works for. She's compromised to the hilt. I mean, with Syria, with everything, she's been a disaster as a congressperson, but also as a DNI person. So it's not surprising to see her bury something. It is absolutely shocking that this conversation took place, but not surprising either. I mean, do we know that Donald Trump and his cabinet take a direction from Vladimir Putin? I mean, you don't have to be, you can see it every day. You can see it in
It's
the
not a
policy every
conspiracy.
single day.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's just you can see
What I
Witkoff.
was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
look at Witkoff and
yeah,
Kushner
with
negotiating on
Iran now, they're
Iran.
everywhere. They're
It's like
everywhere.
these guys are called
It's like
Russian,
zealot.
stooges.
Anywhere there's an alleged peace deal / oil deal, that's where you'll find Witkoff and Kushner.
It's like first it was Witkoff. Remember, I would scream, "You're gonna see Kushner soon. You're gonna see Kushner." Now it's twiddle-dee, twiddle.
It really is.
It's like
okay.
it's like if it wasn't so serious, it would be so funny to hopefully once we get through all of this later on, we could all when we get our democracy back, I would love to. I don't drink, but I would probably I will guzzle down something and I will drink with you or something to celebrate because this thing is just so I can't even tell you, man. This
Well,
is
dude,
just
like talk about the
constant
Tulsi thing.
roller
What are you
coaster.
hearing? Are you hearing anything about what the conversation was, who it was,
Yeah,
what kind of
no.
fucking trouble she's in?
Well, first of all, I didn't get a chance to because this is just breaking right now. I'm going to make phone calls when I get off of here. But I've been talking about Tulsi for a week already, just like you said. I've mentioned it even when the news came out that she was in Georgia. I broke the story, and the media hasn't discussed it fully yet. But they've already said part of why a lot of the classified information is because part of the team is John Ratcliffe from the CIA, and everything the CIA does or the DNA is classified information. So you know what I'm saying to you. And you got, obviously the DOJ with Pam Bondi. You got, Kash Patel and the FBI. It's all part of the team that Trump put together a while ago, and that is being, worked with Stephen Miller. And it's interesting that you said that 8 months ago, Susie Wiles told her to cover it up. And then all of a sudden, later, right afterwards, not too long afterwards, you saw Susie Wiles did that interview with Vanity Fair or Vogue or whatever, and that came out. And as I've been saying in my mail letter today in Substack, my sources are telling me Susie Wiles wants out. Susie Wiles is starting to see all the, trying to figure out she has, I don't know how complicit she is in a lot of the stuff that has transpired because part of her interview, if you remember, she said that it's kind of like she had a deal with Donald, like that he could get his revenge in a little bit and then, he'll stop, but he kept going and and she, something to that effect, like she was saying it to you. And that's what I'm hearing. This is just the tip of the iceberg. The fact, the important part is right now is to protect these whistleblowers. Being a whistleblower, I know, is very important because under Donald Trump's administration, just think about what they were trying to do. I mean, they hid this in the safe. They weren't allowing it to come out. They've been trying to, cover it up because of, national intelligence. But at the end of the day, the national intelligence is what's going on in the White House, what deals are being made and what is being brokered behind the scenes to allow millions all these people around the world to be dying in Ukraine, the Middle East, Iran, Palestine, what happened in Venezuela. People, so I mean, these are all stuff. This is not, coincidental. These are all interconnected parts. These are all, and this is why we talk about all these different moving parts, but it's all part of the same movie. Just from the drugs being shipped from, Colombia and all, or Venezuela, and the money being spent in Iran to be able to finance the war in Russia, to all of these in Uzbekistan. I mean, these are, I know they sound like facet, but this is how this world enterprise of organized crime to the highest level works. And, and you see countries, and now you see the reason why you're seeing it so opened up is because Donald Trump entered the fray. And Donald Trump is just blowing shit up all over the place because he doesn't belong in that world. He doesn't know that world. He doesn't know, but by being in charge of the most powerful country, the most powerful military, the most in the world.
They got it. They got it, dude. The international criminal
it.
syndicate that came out of Russia that took over the United States, they own the United States. and it was a great explanation that I saw the other day, and I can't remember the person that put it out on Twitter. I'm not coming up with it, but the Trump regime and the American government is literally been captured by an international criminal syndicate, and these people that the Americans have elected have been part of that international criminal syndicate for a very fucking long time, like 40 years. Real quick before we let Zev go, I do want to ask you guys both a couple questions. One, are you seeing these pictures of allegedly Jeffrey Epstein with long hair walking around Israel? Anybody?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Is that real? Is this
I mean,
real?
as far as we know, the guy's dead, but there's certainly a school of thought that suggests that he isn't. And there's indicators that that's possible. Look, he also, when we talk a lot about Russia, he obviously also worked for Israel,
Yeah.
and clearly had a great love for Israel, was
UK.
hugely supportive of Israel.
UK,
Yeah, and another intelligence aide, but clearly, I have it on the record that he
Oh,
worked for
Michael
military
Francesi,
intelligence in
thank you.
Israel.
Somebody put, I apologize. Thank you. Just now, I guess we're 15 minutes behind, but somebody put up, so Michael Francesi, and I apologize, just to bring you guys back to the story, it was who Murad Balagula's partner was.
Oh, the Italian version of the Italian-Russian mob. Yeah, okay.
Correct. Well, he was the original partner. And I know Michael very well. He's now, born again and doing all this stuff. But I met him in Hollywood, actually. I know that's a separate story. But Michael Francesi, he was running the Russian mob. I mean, the Italian mob. His father, Sonny, was the one of the top leaders. And which family was that? The Bonanno or the Colombo?
I don't remember.
I think.
Bonanno family?
Yes.
The Gambino? No, it wasn't the Gambino family. Lucchese? Lucchese.
I think Lucchese.
Lucchese.
One of them. One of the 5 families. Sonny and his father's son. It's interesting. His father's Sonny put a hit on Michael, literally to kill Michael because Michael became a government informant.
I remember that.
For that. Yeah, that was a big whole
thing.
The
father tried to have the son killed? Oh
yeah, that was a whole big thing. They
fucking hardcore.
They did this community, and now it's funny because Michael Francesi has this thing. Him and Sammy the Bull Guarano argue on TikTok, or 2 ex-mobsters argue, like it's so hilarious. But it's
who's the worst mobster?
Fantastic.
Right. Fantastic.
Okay,
anyway, go ahead.
So but the no, that's okay, dude. I appreciate you bringing that back. But to your point, Zev, like, every picture that I've seen of Epstein walking around, and there are a couple of different narratives where I'm like, okay. And then I go back to, the Epstein files. It was borne out yesterday in an email that, government officials, when they removed Epstein's body from his cell, used boxes and pillows and stuff to make it look like they had a body in a body bag, right? And then we're seeing it like I'm sorry. Oh, there you go. You got Michael Francesi. But I mean, obviously we live in a post-truth society where everybody's trying to fucking, red herring after red herring. Yeah, you can get it when he gets off.
The other thing is, no one ever could find the death certificate. I know Mark Epstein looked around for a long time trying to get the death certificate. Was never given it for Jeffrey Epstein. There was an autopsy, so someone must have seen a dead body, whether it was his or not, who knows? Or maybe they didn't. The whole thing smells. The whole murder, whatever happened that night is obviously not normal. That people fall asleep, the cameras are turned off, the guy's supposedly hanging himself off a bed that's 4 foot off the ground. These things are not possible. So how did it happen? It's anyone's guess. And is he alive? Could also be anyone's guess.
Yeah.
If he was anywhere, he would be in Israel or Moscow, I'd imagine.
I think the man with the answers to all of this that is slipping through a lot of time, and that's another thing. If I got into Congress, the first thing I would do is I would go after Bill Barr. This is a man that has a lot of answers, and the Comer and them are covering up. That's what I'm saying to you. There's nobody in Congress and Senate that has no backbone to go after the real players. They're chasing everybody wants to get the Donald Trump video of him with. They're not going to get it. You know what I'm saying to you. They have.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying to you. Like I see Michael Cohen earlier today. We need all the files released. We already have so much files released. We already have so much freaking evidence. We already have so much shit, and they're so bad, and there's so much shit. Like we don't even have to release them. Unredact them. How about this? Unredact the emails of who these people are that are talking about 9-year-old girls.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying to you? Like unredacted. You know what I'm saying to you? So you know.
Well, and
what I'm
dude, let
saying to you
me
is-
just kind of hop in there too, because a couple of days ago, and Zev and I chatted about this in the Five Stack yesterday. Bill Clinton went ham. Bill Clinton was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna fucking come testify. You put that shit on TV, but fuck this. Let's have an entire public hearing." And I thought to myself,
So
well, that's nice, Bill. But
well,
you could just fucking go on television and tell your version of every parts of this story. So
so,
could hundreds of other fucking people. Sorry, go ahead, Len.
so I'm gonna stop you for a second. We're gonna say goodbye to Zev. Zev, don't leave
Okay.
because you want to listen to this. I'm gonna bring Nick
Yeah.
up because we don't have too much time, but we're gonna get into. I'm gonna give you some juicy information about the behind the scenes of this whole Clinton and what's going on with this testimony and who wants it, who doesn't want it. So Zev, thanks a lot, brother, for coming up. We will speak. I
It's
know
been
we got a
great.
lot.
Nice
See you,
to
pal.
see you guys.
See you Monday.
Thanks,
Happy
brother.
birthdays.
Thanks, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Cheers. Bye.
There he goes. There goes my boy,
There he goes.
my
There
Zev.
he was.
Was Zev? He's
There he
gone
was.
now. It's like
Oh,
my
Zev, can you
emotional
press-
support podcaster is
Zev,
what he
press,
is.
yeah, press. There we go. It's perfect. Because you know what, the system, unless you can, this guy. Hold on, let me get. What's his name? Nick? Nick, where are you, Nick? Hold on. There we go.
Bring in Nick Paro. And I've got like 10 minutes because I've just been given the 5-minute warning. So I'm going to push the 10 minutes
Yeah.
because it's my birthday dinner this evening. So
Yes. Hey, folks, and I apologize. We took a little longer. Maybe, what we'll do is maybe tomorrow's Super Bowl. So I know a lot of you are going to be busy, so we're not going to do it tomorrow. But sometime this week, I promise you,
Yep.
we'll make up. We'll do what we'll do instead of bringing you any updates. We'll do our
Q&A.
just Q&A just for you guys. I'll give you.
Let's
a
do it
heads
on
up,
Monday
either
for the
Mon-
weekend roundup.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
So let's do. So Monday,
Yeah.
we could do it Monday. Yeah, we'll do it
Yep.
Monday. So guys, just write down your questions because I know it took longer, but I hope you appreciate some of the information and the stories, and because I think it's really relevant. But definitely, we'll do Monday. We'll do a special just Q&A, just follow up, and then we'll go into the new stuff and the follow up, so that we could get caught up because sometimes it gets long. I apologize for that.
No, don't be
Great
sorry.
day.
We were
What do you got there,
flowing.
Nick?
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome Nick Paro from Banner and
Hey.
Backthorn, who came to the show today with what appears to be a trouser snake.
I
trouser
like
snake.
playing with my snake sometimes. Sometimes you got to
What
play
kind of
with it
snake
in
is it? My
public,
son
too.
would love it.
It's a trouser
Okay.
snake.
Is it trouser snake? I gotta show my son Nathan.
He's,
love it.
he's,
Hold on, I gotta go
uh,
get my son Nathan.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a ball.
Yeah, go get him.
python.
Hey
His
Nick,
name's
how you doing?
Nicky.
You got a ball python just kind of wrapped
Yeah,
around your
where's
neck
Nathan?
there?
Yeah, dude, he's a little
Come here
choker.
quickly. I want to show you a snake. The snake my friend has. Come here.
Yeah. Oh, that's terrifying to me. That is people that love snakes terrify me. No, it's just
Right.
it's not a
Happy
snake.
birthday, Lev.
Show, Nick.
Hey,
Yeah,
Show.
thank you.
Look, it's around his neck. What kind of snake is that?
it's a ball python. His name
Oh, you
is
see, he said it was a
Bucky the
python. I didn't
Slither
even know.
Soldier Barnes.
What's his name?
Nathan,
Bucky Slither Soldier Barnes, named after
lucky the slither sold of it. Nathan's been bugging us to get a snake, but it's not going to happen. That's the closest you're going to get. So you enjoy it. Have some fun.
Way to ruin the kid's dream, huh? That's as close as you're getting, kid.
Absolutely.
Look,
Look at this
you see the
beautiful
snake?
snake.
You see it? That's as close as you're going to get to it also. I love you.
The kids are cute. The kids are adorable.
No, well, we have two dogs, and they so a snake would be we got
three dogs, so-
reptiles. Oh, we got a whole and we got lots of kids also. Don't forget.
Oh yeah, yeah. Hey, happy
Lev
birthday,
Lev is a procreator of epic proportions. I learned that watching From Russia with Lev. Let me just say this. Lev loves animals and children, and he has a lot of them. And when you talk about either one of them, Lev's face just fucking beams.
Yeah,
He is
That's
a
all
father.
funny.
Yeah.
well, that's why what we do in Ukraine, like that's why that gives me so much power and energy because every day, have you seen? We've been putting out every single day a new family is getting a generator, and all those
Mhm.
kids are like watching their face. I haven't even shown you. I'm going to be putting out now the responses. Some of these families have sent videos to Alexander. He's sending them to me, like showing literally like how they're waking up in the morning with the generator running and they got food finally or heat and kids laughing. laughing, in the middle of a war where it says something so simple and small like heat or food or what that we take for granted every freaking day. You know what I'm saying? So that brings, a lot of it. But anyway, let's get into some, Nick. We got some interesting stuff that we're going to talk about the Clintons. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, the
And
Clintons.
I had a question for you too
Yeah.
on another topic around voting stuff.
Let's get to the
Let's do the
Clintons,
Clintons
then we'll do,
first.
because we just opened up that can of Clinton whoop ass with his tweet yesterday. But go ahead. What are you hearing? What do you know? Give us the juice, Lev.
Yeah, so Trump is shitting bricks, folks. Trump is shitting major bricks, and the Clintons have got him cornered right now. And that's why you're seeing the pressure come first. You saw from Hillary, coming out with that tweet a couple of days ago saying, make this shit public if you're going to go do it. And then you saw right behind her yesterday or today, I think it was yesterday, where Bill came out and said, make this shit public. I could tell you Comer is taking a shit because he does not want to make this shit public. Comer, because he, has gotten phone calls from the White House telling him what the hell is going on, because Donald Trump does not want this to happen. Because the one thing Donald Trump does understand is, yes, people already know who Clinton is. This is a guy that had his intern give him, under the table. So let's, it is what it is. This is not some,
I believe it's known as a blowjob in certain corners of it.
Okay,
her brother was in my fraternity, and he was
Lewinsky's brother.
Yeah, he was in college when it happened. He's actually one of my fraternity brothers. I didn't meet him.
Wow, what a small world!
What
a small world. Here in Lev Remembers, we just connect all the dots. But
yes,
even Monica Lewinsky gets into the game.
Yeah.
So Trump understands that, but what now Trump doesn't understand is that there's a precedence that's being set. And the president, Trump's not worried about him testifying, but Trump is taking a shit that Melania is going to get as soon as the Democrats take the House. Melania is going to get subpoenaed to testify about the Epstein files, and Melania, who could barely speak freaking English, can't even is going to have to sit there and explain how she met Epstein, how she met Trump, where this was. So right now they're trying to stop this. I'm hearing they're like, let's cut a deal. Like, you guys just don't show up and we just won't prosecute you. we just won't. You just like this. I shit you not.
The real has come for Donald Trump. See, this is how stupid these fucking people are. They go on the offense like this, and all of a sudden Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton go, hey, that's cool. That's cool. Let's do this in public. And then they go, oh, fuck. What happens if we lose the House and the Senate, and Melania has to testify about being a hooker in the Epstein world and meeting Donald Trump and getting Epstein sloppy seconds? Like, that's seriously.
Do we know how old Melania actually is and how old she was when she met Trump? Like, is she part of the honeypot too?
Well, we don't. That's the whole thing. We don't know who, because we know there was definitely a honeypot.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely know Melania was ran in those circles of when she was 19. She said that I think she even talked about herself prior, that she went first to Paris, modeling, John Luke, I think, or whatever.
Yeah, John Luke Brunel was involved in her coming over from, and as well as, if I can too, Paolo Zampoli, who has been given a plum position with the Trump regime. Yep.
I mean, listen, we already understand. We don't have to sit here and chew it all out. Everybody understands where Melania came from, which circle she ran with, and what's in those Epstein files. We just don't know. We just haven't seen it written down, or a text message, or an email, or hey, Melania. But we have actually, because we have seen already something come out. They just can't confirm it's that Melania. We seen a letter from Melania to Maxwell, saying that she's going to come out, but the media can't confirm it's that Melania or if a different Melania. But I would say, from what I'm hearing, they're really, really nervous and really with this whole Clinton thing, and I think we haven't seen the end of it. I don't think you're going to see it just go smoothly. I think there's because right now neither the Clintons want to testify. Trust me when I tell you, and neither does Trump want to have Melania testify. And they are both in the caught themselves in a major pickle in the media world, and both of these four individuals are right now, and Jamie Comer's in the middle.
Shit, everybody's shitting.
How high is his
there.
voice going to get during these testimonies?
James
Gonna
Comer,
be like
pretty high.
screeching the whole time, just like I don't know what to do anymore.
Well, and if there's another voice that I can't wait to hear, it's Melania's if she does testify. Watching her read that Christmas book the other day, Santa
like
loves Christmas.
Yeah, that it's yeah.
Boys, no. Listen, I'm going to let you and Nick take this home because I'm. It's birthday dinner time for me, and my dolly needs me.
Go eat.
Lev, I love you. I love you, Nick.
Happy birthday, Run.
Happy birthday to you. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, guys.
Everybody, give Dean a happy birthday subscriber, pay subscriber birthday present right now. Go give it to Dean. He does so much. He works so hard. So
He does.
Go ahead, Nick. What is on your mind, my brother?
So there is one. I'm glad that the Clintons are coming forward and saying they'll testify, whether they do or not. Like, I'm glad it's at least happening because it does set that precedent. I'm more worried about what's going on with the vote stealing and the idea of vote stealing and election interference. And we have this bill sitting in the Senate called the SAVE Act that is going to strip 86 million women, but also transgender, gay, any LGBTQ folk who's changed their name. It's going to target anyone who's basically not straight and male to limit their access to be able to vote. And I was wondering if you've heard anything about what's going on with the SAVE Act, because it's just sort of sitting there at John Thune's feet waiting to get triggered during the primaries or the midterms.
Yeah, no, it's something very serious, and I wrote about that. I call the SAVE Act is literally the Steal Our Election Act, Steal Our Destroy Our Constitution Act. One of the final steps that Trump is trying to. This is part of what Tulsi Gabbard's doing with Radcliffe behind the scenes. This is part of why you saw not indictments, but what's it called? The raid in Georgia. What I'm hearing is that there's indictments that they're gonna come down in Georgia, and they're gonna use Georgia as a model to be able to try to go into 15, 16 other states that Trump has targeted that have, in his words, that have election problems, that can't have a fair and square election. And he understands that federalizing, and that's why he uses certain things, is to make sure that the media chases the words, and has historians and all of these pundits out there talking about how he can't federalize it because the states have to blah, 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 blah. He knows that. He says that is because to take the eye off the real ball. What he means by federalizing is putting in like the SAVE Act. What he means by federalizing is by putting in ICE agents at every polling station. What he means by federalizing is stop the mail-in voting. What he means by federalizing, which is most important, who's going to count the votes, not who votes, and who are the people they're going to, because he's going to need to make sure extra eyes are put in and counting because of all the irregularities that they're going to try to bring up happen in Georgia and other states. So that's the explanation of what their Save America Act, or whatever that act is called. It's literally a cover. It's extremely dangerous. The only thing that is really saving us right now tremendously from what happened, and as crazy as it sound, but the fact that this idiot, Donald Trump, which is a blessing to us, that he is such a narcissistical fool, went out there and put out that the livid and disgusting Truth Social about the Obamas. And now the fact that he's not even backing down and not even apologizing and is doubling down on it. And there's a major rift also happening right now internally inside the GOP. And what's happening happening. So people are right now thinking about survival. This weekend is a lot of conversations, a lot of things happening to see what's going to transpire. What I would say, Nick, and what I would definitely give you props for, and I would and ask you to continue in your platform, but sounding the alarm, because everything we spoke about today, the most important thing is this act that they got there, Save America, whatever act, because it's basically they're trying to steal our rights and they're trying to steal the elections without having to cancel them, because he understands canceling the election could trigger literally a civil war, and he understands, and that's why he's trying to do it in a way where Americans don't realize it, and they just before they realize it, it's too late. You know what I'm saying to you? So that's why it's extremely important to keep the eye on that. But the only way I'll tell you is that we could stop them from doing this is keep putting pressure on with the Epstein files, because the more we have rifts in the GOP, the more we have the Republicans right now walking away and being scared, thinking of their own, political. Because remember, most of these Congress people and senators have no idea, and they're not part of the Donald Trump basically steal elections and we're going to be in control. A lot of these people worry about their own seats, even if Donald Trump stays in control, because Donald Trump today likes you, tomorrow, if you don't agree with him or you don't vote his way, you're excommunicated from the, I'm saying to you, you have death threats coming at you. So these people
You become a
understand
Marjorie
that.
Taylor Greene.
Correct. Exactly. So definitely, that's what I'm hearing, and it's very serious. And I think that's a great way to end our show on this on that topic, because everybody make sure give Nick Paro a follow. He's doing some incredible work. Nick is part of my team. We have a lot of things lined up going forward. Can't announce everything, but I could tell you this much: this is a year of action. No more reaction. No more just talking. For all the doubters out there, they're going to see what takes place, because it's time. Like I say, enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's time to take our country back. Time to take our democracy back. It's time to take America back and get our country back where it was. Right, Nick?
Yeah, as I say, or the acronym I like is RISE. It's reclaiming integrity, service, and ethics in the American ethos, and that's what we're doing. And for those who ask,
Love it.
the SAVE Act is the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act.
Yep.
It's guised as a immigration to prevent immigrants from, or illegal immigrants from voting, but it's to hurt women, to hurt trans people, to hurt the gay community, to hurt anyone who is not straight, white, and male, and or landowning property owner, because this is the new Confederacy. Donald Trump is a KKK president. You can see that with the racist attack that he had on the Obamas. That
Yep.
was Confederacy propaganda. These are Jim Crow era laws. So we're bringing back the old Confederacy is what they want. And how women is if your name has changed since your birth, you have to re-register to vote if you move, or pretty much anything. So check your voter registrations. Melissa Corrigan puts out a lot of really good information around the SAVE Act and what you can do to safeguard yourself as someone who has a name change, but also what it's going to take to prevent it, because that's the big question. How do we stop these from happening? Men, go out there and be fucking loud, because it can't just be women going, oh my God, save my right to vote. It has to be us. It has to be us.
Has to be us.
We have to go out
Has to.
there as their allies and say, you will not touch their right to vote. And if you do, you're fucking gone, because we, the men, will then make sure you get out of office. Not a threat, it's a promise. It's an American voter promise that you will leave office one way or the other if you try and take anybody's right to vote away. It's the one thing in American history we have never done. We've always given the right to vote, but we've never taken it away. Come fucking try
That's
it, Donald Trump. See what happens.
That's right. I love Nick. Nick, everybody give Nick a follow. Make sure Backbone, and if you can become a paid subscriber. Independent journalism is number one right now, and this is part of our team, folks. These are people that are really out there doing whatever they can to exploit, to get you the information to be able to save our democracy. Nick, brother, love you, man. Stay strong, keep it up, and I'll talk to you later. Can you disconnect because I can't?
Yeah,
For some reason,
absolutely.
and then I'll go. But have a wonderful day, brother. Continue
You
having a
too.
great weekend. Keep up the fight.
Happy birthday and have a great weekend. Keep up the fight, everyone. Thanks, y'all. Thanks, Lev.
Thank you, Nick. Everyone, I just want to thank you all for sharing the past couple of hours here. I want to do a special shout out and a special happy birthday to Laura Kay. I didn't forget you, Laura. Laura is one of our not only supporters, she's one of our subscribers, she's one of our family here. Laura Kay is always on every I see you, and we share a birthday together. So happy birthday, Laura Kay. Everybody wish Laura Kay a happy birthday. I'm sorry it's belated. I was going to wish you a happy birthday yesterday, but my wife did not let me go out live, so today, happy birthday. And for all of you that belated birthdays or coming up, please let's do start a routine or start a new here in our Love Remembers family. If it's your birthday and we're doing a live or something, let us know because we are part of a family, so we could let you share it and we could let you. It's a great feeling to have all of us to be able to get a lot of happy birthday feelings, and sometimes we don't have a lot of people out there, and so we are one big family. So if it's your birthday, from now on, the Love Remembers, when we're doing a live, you better let us know so we could all celebrate here and wish you a happy birthday and a special one. For all of you folks, otherwise, there's a lot going on. I don't know. We might be going live later. We might be going live tomorrow. Hopefully not. Tomorrow's a Super Bowl. Hopefully we could all take some time off and watch a little bit of America's game. Also, I wanted to let you know that you saw for those of you that joined late, I will be putting it out in the next 30, 40 minutes. Very important. Couple of things I ask each and every one of you to do is to spread this far and wide. You don't have to become a paid subscriber to do that. You don't have to contribute to any of our platforms to do that. Being just a subscriber, sharing the message, bringing people that can maybe become paid subscribers or contributing. That's the number one thing. That's why. But for those of you that can and are paid subscribers, God bless you. It's not only helps support the platform, but also with the way the algorithms work, it allows basically, and I'm learning this, as you could see, I'm an old time guy, do not know this new time stuff, but the more paid subscribers you have, obviously financially it's beneficial, helps, but also it helps with the algorithms. It helps with the getting out. So if you can, if you have a choice of doing one or the other, the $8 paid subscriptions, I promise you, it'll be worth the best money you've spent information-wise, cheaper than a cup of coffee. And then obviously, yes, supporting our GoFundMe's, our platforms is extremely important because I don't have corporations. I'm not going to take money from any. And I've been offered, I'll be honest with you guys, there's a lot of people coming out of the woodworks and are offering me, different type of deals to do platforms. I'm not going to do it. Not planning out, not starting it. This is not a business for me. This is personal to save our democracy. And so I just wanted to make it clear. So everything we do is going to be grassroots. Everything I do is grassroots. Part of, what I'm trying to get out is, tell these people in Congress they got to get, this foreign money out of there. So I'm obviously not going to start taking any corporate or money. So all of your donations, all of your contribution means so much to me, and I want to thank you. But the important things I need you to do today is sign the Epstein petition because, and it's out here. It's extremely important, that Epstein petition, because we already have over 17 or 18,000 signatures. Incredible. Keep going, because February 11th, I'm going to be in Washington, D.C. I'm going to hand deliver it to Congresswoman Crockett, also Congressman Raskin and others. I want to show them how loud our voice is and how we're demanding, and we're adding names to it. that are significant in being able to get subpoenaed to get there, so we could start getting answers. Also, very importantly, we're going to put together a package by our team here, from the Zev Shalev, Ellie Leonard, Kate Justice, the Krasenstein brothers, and if I'm missing somebody, I apologize. So much more, but the team is putting together an incredible package that I'm going to hand deliver to them. So, folks, make sure you sign the Epstein petition, become a volunteer at Lev PTTP, because this is a grassroots movement. And next week, we're going to start putting action towards. So it's time. Keep signing the petition, keep spreading the word, keep becoming, and most importantly, spread some love today. Spread some positive energy. Go spend some time with your kids, your mothers, your father, your loved ones, and enjoy your weekends. And tomorrow, I don't know who you guys will be rooting for, but we're going to be going for the Seattle Seahawks because we're New York Jets fans. So we're not going to root for the Patriots. So yeah, I know a lot of you probably feel sorry for us, but next year the New York Jets are going to win. Jets, 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 Jets. Enjoy your Super Bowl Sunday, folks. Hope this information gave you a lot of stuff. I'm definitely gonna also write a letter later tonight or tomorrow because there's some moving parts happening with Tulsi Gabbard and others. So stay tuned. Much love. Take care. And for everybody out there, go hug. Spread the love. Positive energy is extremely important. Spread it. Take care.